When you're multiplying complex numbers, it's just like when you multiply binomials, trinomials, anything like that. We just do repeat distribution. So we do this 2 times both the things in parentheses over here, and the 3i times both the things in parentheses over here. So we just distribute a whole bunch. So we have 2 times 5 plus 2 times negative I plus 3i times 5 plus 3i times negative I. So I'm just writing down everything so that you can see where everything is coming from. So let's actually multiply these. So 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times negative I is negative 2i. We can just write that as minus 2i. 3i times 5. We couldn't add these together, but since it's multiplication, we can just multiply the numbers together. So 3 times 5 would give us 15. And then we have our I. 3i times negative I, well, that makes it negative. And then I times I is I squared. Okay. So right here, our new thing is this I squared. So I squared is equal to negative 1, because it's the square root of negative 1 times the square root of negative 1, which is just negative 1. So we can rewrite all of this, but that I squared is negative 1. So we notice we have two things right now that have i's, so we can combine those two. Let me go ahead and add my I in. Please don't forget that like I did. So we can combine those. So negative 2i plus 15i gives us 13i. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. Okay, and then lastly, we notice that we have a couple of numbers. We have this 10 and this 3, and we can combine those. When we do this, we want standard form, which is a number first. So 13, which is 10 plus 3, plus 13i. And there's our final answer. So distribute, simplify, combine like terms. Let's take a look at one more example. So same basic idea. We're going to take everything from the first set of parentheses, multiply it to everything in the second set of parentheses. Okay, so this first step that I'm doing here, I like to write down so it reminds me of what I'm doing. You don't have to as much if you don't want to. So 4 times 3, I'm just going to write that down. 4 times 6i. I'm using a plus because it's a positive 4. Since this is a minus 2i, I'm going to write a minus. Minus. So 2i times 3. And then we still have that negative 2i times 6i. Okay, I like to write all that down, just keeps me organized. So now we can multiply. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 6i would give us 24i. Remember, we can multiply those numbers together. Negative 2i times 3 is negative 6i. And then negative 2i times 6i is negative 12i squared. Okay, so I see these both have an I. We can combine those. And I'm also going to replace this I squared with a negative 1. So 12, 24i minus 6i is 18i. So minus 12 times negative 1. So when we rewrite this first part, this doesn't change at all. But negative 12 times negative 1 is positive 12. Then finally, a couple more things to combine. We have this 12 and this 12. Neither of them have an I. We can combine them. So where we want numbers first. So 24, because that's 12 plus 12, plus 18i. And again, that's it. We're done. So pretty simple. If you have any questions, please comment below. I can improve them or ask me in email or in class.